"You're my wild phase before I settle down," my girlfriend said, twirling pasta like nothing was wrong. I just nodded and started planning my leaving. She'll notice what's missing when it's far too late. I've been with Tina for 2.5 years. We moved in together last year, split everything 50-50, and I thought we were building something real. I've been thinking about proposing maybe next year, started looking at rings, the whole thing. We talk about the future constantly, where we want to live, kids, all of it. Last Friday night we're having dinner, and somehow the conversation turns to her college friends getting married. She's scrolling through engagement photos on Instagram and makes this comment about how boring everyone's become. I jokingly say, "Well, good thing you're stuck with me then," and she looks up with this weird expression. "Aaron, you know you're like my wild phase before I settle down, right?" I thought she was joking. I laughed and said, "What do you mean?" "I mean, like, you're fun and adventurous and everything, but you're not the guy I'm going to marry. When I'm ready to be serious and have kids and do the whole suburban thing, I'll find someone more. I don't know, stable. You're my figure out what I want guy." My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might actually throw up right there at the dinner table. I sat there staring at her, and she's just casually twirling her fettuccine like she didn't just drop a nuclear bomb on my entire future. I asked her to clarify, and she got irritated. "God, Aaron, don't be so dramatic. Like, I'm being honest with you. Most people don't get that luxury. I could string you along and lie, but I respect you too much. I'm just not ready to settle down yet, and when I am, I want someone who can provide the lifestyle I grew up with." For context, I make decent money as a project manager, $75K, but her dad's a surgeon and her mom's a lawyer. She grew up in a $2 house. I grew up in a trailer park. She's always made little comments about money that I brushed off. Like when we go out with her friends and I suggest a mid-range restaurant, she'll say, "Oh, Aaron's being budget conscious tonight," with this little laugh. Or when I wear my work boots to help her move furniture, she'll joke about me bringing the construction site to her place. I spent the weekend in a haze. She acted like nothing happened. Made breakfast Saturday morning, wanted to Netflix and chill Sunday, tried to initiate sex. Like she hadn't just told me I'm essentially a placeholder boyfriend. I keep replaying it and getting angrier. 2.5 years. I've met her entire family multiple times. Her mom asks me when I'm proposing. Her sister includes me in group chats about family events. Was I imagining all of that? Now that I think about it, most of our future planning involves me adapting to what she wants. She's always been specific about wanting to live within 20 minutes of her parents when we have kids. She's mentioned multiple times that she'd want to send our future children to private school, like she had. When I brought up maybe buying a starter home in a more affordable area, she wrinkled her nose and said we should wait until we can do it right the first time. But here's the thing that's really messing with my head. Part of me feels lighter than I have in months. The other part is terrified I just learned the truth about the last 2 years of my life. But I know which feeling is right, and it's not the scared one. Am I crazy for feeling completely betrayed? She says she's being honest, but this feels cruel as hell. How do you build a life with someone you see as temporary? I need to figure out what to do next because I can't keep pretending everything's normal. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. Reading all your responses, and honestly, yeah, a lot of you are right. I think I've been ignoring red flags for a while. For those asking, yes, we signed a lease together through next August. Yes, she knows I've been ring shopping. Yes, she's met my mom multiple times and calls her future mother-in-law as a joke. That hits different now. Going to have a serious conversation with her tonight. We'll update. Update 1. Posted 2 weeks ago, you guys freaking called it. Every single person who told me this was about control and manipulation. You were 100% right. So Monday night I told Tina we needed to talk. I'd spent the weekend really thinking about her honest comment and realized I needed to understand what exactly our relationship meant to her. I started calmly. "I need you to help me understand something. If I'm just a phase for you, what exactly are we doing here? Are we just roommates who sleep together until you find your real boyfriend?" I could see her shoulders tense immediately. She crossed her arms defensively. "Aaron, like, Why are you making this such a big deal? I told you I respect you enough to be honest. Most girls would just string you along." There it was, that condescending tone where she made herself the hero of her own story. Like I should be grateful for her brutal honesty instead of hurt by it. But that's what you are doing. You're living with me, meeting my family, making future plans, all while knowing you're going to dump me eventually. Her face flushed. "Look, I'm young and I want to experience life. You're good for me right now. You're fun, you're sweet, the sex is great. But I have standards for who I marry, and I'm not compromising on my future just to make you feel better." Each word felt like a small punch. Good for me right now. Like I was a hobby she'd picked up temporarily. I asked what those standards were. She leaned back in her chair, suddenly confident again, like she was finally getting to explain something she'd thought through carefully. She listed them off like a grocery list. Has to make at least 200K, has to have a graduate degree from a top-tier school, has to come from money because he needs to understand the lifestyle, has to want to live in her hometown near her parents, and has to share her values, which is code for Republican who goes to the country club. You're none of those things, Aaron, but that doesn't mean I don't care about you. I was sitting there realizing I've been the placeholder boyfriend for someone shopping for a husband like he's a luxury car. Then she hit me with, "Besides, you're not exactly marriage material right now either. You need to work on yourself, figure out your career, maybe go back to school. I'm actually helping you by being honest about what women want." That's when I felt something shift, like a switch flipped. I looked around our apartment that I pay half the rent for, that I help decorate, where I do half the housework, and something rebelled against that voice. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt genuinely angry. Not hurt angry, but clear angry. "You're right," I told her. "I do need to work on myself, starting now." The look of confusion on her face was priceless. She clearly expected me to beg or argue or promise to change, to follow the script we'd been running for 2 years. Instead, I told her I was going to start treating this relationship exactly like what she said it was: temporary. No more long-term planning. No more emotional investment beyond what's needed to be civil roommates. No more pretending we're building something together. She backtracked so fast I got whiplash. Suddenly she was leaning forward, reaching for my hand, her voice getting soft and vulnerable again. "Aaron, you're being dramatic. I didn't mean it like that. I love you, you know that." But I could see the panic in her eyes now. This wasn't going according to plan. "But you don't see a future with me." "Not right now, but things could change. If you wanted to work on—" "Nope." I pulled my hand back. "You were crystal clear. I'm your fun phase, got it." The rest of the week was fascinating to watch. I stopped asking about her day, and she started volunteering more information than she ever had before. I stopped making dinner for both of us, and suddenly she was suggesting we cook together more often. When she wanted to watch a movie together, I politely declined and went to my computer instead, and she actually followed me to ask if I was okay. It was like I'd been giving her constant attention she never appreciated until it was gone. Friday she came home and found me researching CrossFit gyms and looking at apartments. I heard her keys hit the counter harder than usual. "What's all this?" I didn't look up from my laptop. "Working on myself, like you suggested." The panic in her voice was immediate and unmistakable. "Aaron, you don't need to move out. We can make this work." Now I did look up, and I could see genuine fear in her eyes for the first time since I'd known her. "How? You've been planning to dump me this whole time." "I never said dump. I said when I'm ready to settle down." She was reaching for me again, but I stood up and stepped back. "Right. So I'll just wait around indefinitely while you decide if I'm worth settling for. Hard pass." The look on her face was pure disbelief. Like she genuinely couldn't compute that I was rejecting her first. Saturday, I toured 3 apartments for short-term lease and joined a gym. Sunday, I started researching the home buying process and got pre-approved for a mortgage. If I'm going to be single anyway, might as well start building something that's actually mine. She's been increasingly clingy this week. Suddenly wants to talk about everything, trying to initiate sex constantly, asking about my weekend plans. It's like she just realized I might actually leave and now she's scrambling. But here's the kicker. I feel lighter than I have in months, but also weirdly sad. All that pressure to be good enough for her world is gone, but so is the fantasy of our future together. I'm just me, and I'm starting to remember that I actually like me, even if she doesn't think I'm enough. Edit. For everyone asking, yes, I'm looking for my own place. I found a month-to-month apartment I can move into next week while I take my time finding the right house to buy. The mortgage pre-approval went better than expected. Turns out I'm in a much stronger financial position than I thought when I'm not trying to keep up with her lifestyle. Lease isn't up until August, but I'd rather pay double rent for a few months than stay in this situation. Someone asked about my mom's reaction when I told her. She said, "About damn time, honey. You've been walking on eggshells for 2 years. Moms always know." Update 2, posted 1 week ago this week, has been absolutely wild. Tina has completely spiraled since my last update, and honestly, it's been eye-opening as hell. First, I moved into my temporary apartment Wednesday. It's nothing fancy, just a furnished one-bedroom month-to-month place, but the relief of having my own space again is incredible. I also got my mortgage pre-approval back, and I'm approved for way more than I expected. I'm not rushing into buying anything, but for the first time in years, I'm making plans that are just for me. When I told Tina about the apartment and that I was moving out soon, she absolutely lost her mind. "You're really moving out? Are you being serious right now?" "Of course I am," I said with a shrug. "Why wouldn't I be? Without even discussing it with me. And why would I? You made it pretty clear I'm temporary, Tina." She stared at me, clearly taken aback by how calm I was. "But what about US? What about our plans?" "What plans?" "You mean your plans to keep me around until someone better comes along?" She started crying right then and there. Full breakdown. "I never said you were temporary. I said I wasn't ready to settle down yet. There's a difference. The difference is timing, not outcome. You've already decided I'm not husband material." That's when she really went off the rails. Started listing all the things she'd compromised on for me. How she'd lowered her standards to be with someone from my background. How she defended me to her parents when they made comments about my job and my family. Cool. So she's been doing me a favor this whole time. Good to know. But here's where it gets interesting. She then spent 20 minutes telling me everything I needed to change to be worthy of her. Get an MBA, switch careers, start dressing better, learn about wine, take up golf, move closer to her parents. I could help you become the kind of man I need you to be. And that's when it clicked. This was never about me not being ready. This was about her wanting a project. She wanted to keep me around as her fixer-upper boyfriend while she shopped for something better. I told her I wasn't interested in becoming someone else to earn her love. "Then I guess we want different things," she said. "Yeah, I want someone who wants me." Friday night, I went to the CrossFit gym I joined. It's this small place, super welcoming community. I was struggling with the workout, and this woman named Ellen offered to help me with my form. Turns out she's a nurse who gets off 12-hour shifts and comes straight to the gym because lifting heavy things is cheaper than therapy. We ended up talking for like an hour after class about everything from proper deadlift technique to why hospital coffee is universally terrible. Ellen's 28, just bought her own condo last year, and has this dry sense of humor that caught me completely off guard. She made a joke about how my form looked like a baby giraffe trying to pick up a sandwich, and I actually laughed until my sides hurt. When's the last time Tina made me laugh like that? We grabbed coffee Saturday morning, and it was the first conversation I've had in months where I wasn't mentally calculating whether I was saying the right thing. I found myself actually enjoying someone's company without any agenda. Nothing romantic happened, we're just friends, but it reminded me what it feels like to talk to someone who actually enjoys my company. You know what's crazy? I realized I've been living on her timeline for 2 years. When she wanted to move in together, when she wanted to vacation with her family, when she wanted to redecorate. I never stopped to ask what I actually wanted. Now I'm sitting here in my own space, looking at house listings, and I'm actually excited about making decisions just for me. The mortgage guy said I'm in great shape financially. Apparently, I save a lot more money when I'm not trying to fund someone else's lifestyle. When I got home Saturday afternoon, Tina was waiting with a whole speech prepared. She'd clearly been crying and had this desperate energy. "Aaron, I realize I handled this wrong. I love you and I want to make this work. Maybe we can compromise on some things." "Like what?" "Well, you could look into going back to school part-time, and maybe we could move closer to my parents after the lease is up. I could help you network for better job opportunities." Same shit, different packaging. Still trying to turn me into her ideal man instead of wanting the actual me. "Tina, do you even like who I am right now?" Long pause. Well, you're sweet and reliable and you take care of me." But, another pause, "But you could be so much more if you tried." That was it, the final nail in the coffin. She doesn't love me. She loves the project I could become. The difference is everything. I told her I'm moving out as soon as the house inspection clears next week. Sunday she switched tactics completely, started love bombing me. Made my favorite breakfast, wanted to watch my favorite movie, kept touching me and telling me how much she'd miss me. "We don't have to break up just because you're moving out. We could take some space and see how we feel." "How you feel, you mean? You want to keep me as an option while you figure out what you really want." She didn't deny it. "The house inspection was this morning. Everything looks good. I should close by the end of next week. Tonight Tina asked if we could make the most of our last week together. I told her I'd rather not. She's been texting me all day asking what she did wrong. She still doesn't get it. She thinks this is about her delivery, not her message." Edit. "Ellen and I are going to a climbing gym tomorrow, just as friends for everyone asking. But it's nice to hang out with someone who doesn't make me feel like a rough draft of a person." My dad called tonight after I told him about the house. He said he's proud of me for not begging someone to love me. That hit deep. For the people saying I'm moving too fast, I disagree. I'm moving at exactly the right speed for someone who just realized he's been wasting 2 years of his life. Final update, posted 3 days ago. Well, Reddit, this journey has reached its conclusion, and honestly, I couldn't be happier with how everything turned out. Though I'll admit, there are moments when I wonder if I threw away something that could have been fixed. But then I remember her grocery list of husband requirements, and I know I made the right choice. After 5 weeks of house hunting, I finally found the perfect place and closed on it yesterday. Ellen came with me to the closing as moral support. The feeling of signing those papers and getting the keys to MY house, not our house, not her parents' approved house, but MY house that I chose for MY life, was incredible. The timing actually worked out perfectly. Living in that temporary apartment for the past month gave me space to breathe, to figure out who I am outside of her orbit. I wasn't just running away from Tina, I was running towards something better. Yesterday evening, I had the conversation with Tina that officially ended things. She'd been texting me constantly during the house hunting process, alternating between anger and desperate attempts to get me back. I needed to get my remaining stuff from our old place and make it final. She was waiting for me with candles lit and dinner prepared. "I thought we could have one last romantic evening together. Tina, we need to talk." "I know what you're going to say," she interrupted, moving closer, "and I've been thinking. Maybe I was too harsh before. You're a good man, Aaron. We could make this work if we both try." The way she said "good man," like she was granting me a title I hadn't earned yet. "I don't want to make it work," I said flatly. "I want it to be over." The change in her face was instant. The sweet, vulnerable act vanished completely. "So that's it." Her voice turned sharp, cutting. "You're just going to throw away 2.5 years because of one honest conversation." "It wasn't one conversation. It was you telling me exactly how you see me and our relationship. I believe you." That's when the real Tina came out. She started pacing, her voice rising with each accusation. Called me ungrateful for everything she'd done for me, though she couldn't seem to name what those things actually were. Said I was making the biggest mistake of my life, that I'd never find anyone better than her who'd be willing to overlook my limitations. But when I mentioned that Ellen was coming to the closing with me for support, her whole demeanor changed. The mask completely slipped. "Oh, so that's what this is about." Her voice turned cold and calculating. "You're sleeping with another woman already." "I'm not sleeping with anyone, Tina. Ellen's a friend." She laughed, but it was ugly and bitter. "Right, a friend. You think I'm stupid, Aaron. You think I don't see what you're doing here. This whole thing, the apartment, the house, this conversation, it's all just you trying to make a point, isn't it? Trying to show me you have options." I could see her working herself up, pacing faster now, gesturing wildly. "You found some desperate woman who thinks your little blue-collar act is charming, and now you're using her to try to make me jealous. Well, congratulations, Aaron, you got my attention. Are you happy now? Tina, this isn't about don't lie to me." She spun around, pointing at me. "You started hanging out with her right after our conversation. How convenient. How long have you been planning this little revenge fantasy? Did you tell her about us? Did you paint me as the evil girlfriend so she'd feel sorry for you?" I just stared at her. Even in the end, she couldn't conceive of a world where I'd choose someone over her for legitimate reasons. It had to be revenge. It had to be manipulation. "You think that little new girlfriend of yours is going to stick around when she realizes what you really are? You're blue-collar, Aaron. You'll always be blue-collar." "You're right, and I'm proud of that." She blinked, clearly not expecting that response. For a moment she looked genuinely confused. "Fine, but don't come crawling back when you realize what you've lost. I won't be waiting." "Good, don't." The next hour was surreal. I packed my stuff while she alternated between trying to seduce me and insulting me. She'd follow me from room to room, sometimes touching my arm and speaking softly about memories we'd made together, sometimes hissing about how I was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me. When I left, she was standing in the doorway crying and asking how I could just walk away. But it wasn't sadness in her voice, it was disbelief. Like she genuinely couldn't understand how someone she deemed not good enough had the audacity to leave her first. Saturday, I moved my remaining things into my new house. Ellen helped me unpack and brought housewarming beer. We ordered pizza and sat on my back deck talking until midnight. Sunday was peaceful. First Sunday in years where I didn't have to worry about whether Tina was happy with how I spent my time. I mowed my lawn, read a book called My Mom, simple stuff that felt revolutionary. Monday morning I got a text from Tina. "I miss you already, can we please talk?" I didn't respond. Monday evening, "I know you're reading these, this is ridiculous, call me." Tuesday, "Fine, be stubborn, but you're making a huge mistake." Wednesday, "Aaron, I'm sorry, I love you, please come home." Thursday, "Whatever. Enjoy your starter house and your basic girlfriend." Today, "I hope you're happy. You chose your ego over our relationship." I blocked her number after that last one. Ellen and I are taking things slow, but there's something real developing there. She likes that I work with my hands, I do carpentry as a side hustle. She thinks it's cool that I bought a house at 31. She's never once suggested I need to change anything about myself. More importantly, I like who I am when I'm with her. I'm funny again, I'm confident, I'm not constantly second-guessing every word I say. My house needs work, but it's mine. My job isn't glamorous, but it pays well and I'm good at it. I'm not rich, but I'm stable and responsible and kind. That's enough. More than enough. For anyone wondering, Tina will be fine. Someone like her always lands on their feet. She'll find her rich lawyer or doctor or whatever, and he'll spend his life trying to measure up to her ever-shifting standards. Better him than me.